For each and every day at 8 a.m. for your viewing and listening pleasure, as we get to explore life in its depth. We get to take life to new levels because we're asking bigger questions about life. And so today, I put out there that the true meaning of life comes from our connection to something greater than we are, something beyond what we believe ourselves to be. And in that connection, we can have a greater experience of life. Until we connect to something greater, we're not going to have a greater experience of life. That's what's become really clear for me. And isn't that all we want? Isn't that all we want is a greater experience of life? I don't know about you, but that's what I seek. That's what I intend. That's where I put my focus every day. I focus on how can I have a greater expression of life. And you know what? The beauty of it is the possibility of a greater expression is beyond anything that we can imagine. The possibility of that expression is infinite, but we got to connect to something greater than this ego that has a very limited perspective about what life can be and who we can be in that life. You see, the ego has been conditioned. It's been conditioned by our parents, by society, by television. It's been conditioned by religion, by politicians, by business, that we have been so domesticated. It's unbelievable. And you say, no, Lee, I haven't been domesticated. And I'm going to say, oh, yes, you have. Just look at your life. What do you react to? Where do your beliefs come from? Did you choose your beliefs? Did you really choose your beliefs? Think about that. Did you choose your beliefs? You believe them. Here's a key thing. When you believe something, you believe it's true. It's not true. It's an opinion. That's all it is, an opinion. It's opinion that you've thought over and over again, and you found all the evidence to support that opinion. Guess what? You can create another opinion and find evidence to support that as well. So it's not true. And we've got to stop buying into the illusion about what we deem as true and what we deem as not true. And realize that our beliefs control our life experience. Period. Our beliefs about money control our money experience. Our beliefs about relationships control our relationship experience. Our beliefs about career, they control our relationship, control our experience. Our beliefs about our body, our health, control our experience of our body and our health. Science has even determined that it's not our DNA that causes what we experience. Our DNA is an actual tendency. However, science's cellular biologists have put DNA in dishes, and it's the environment around which the DNA is put. They put it in different environments, and guess what? The environment changes the DNA. It changes the tendency. What environment are you putting your DNA in? And that environment is your thought process. Are you buying into society? You buying into society that as you age, you have this type of body, you can only do these things, yada, yada, yada. Are you buying into that? Because if you are, you're creating an atmosphere for that DNA of your family heritage to continue. But if you can change that environment that you've got around your DNA, you can change your experience. Now, don't believe me. Test it out. Prove it for yourself. That's the only way you ever learn anything, is to prove it for yourself. Until you prove it for yourself, you don't know anything. You think you know things. There's so many people that want to argue all the time, argue. And I ask the question, real simple question. Have you proven it to yourself? Have you had that experience? Well, no, I'm limited. I can't do that. I'm limited. Have you tried to do something that's not limiting? Well, no, I'm afraid. Or they won't even admit they're afraid. They're saying it's just not possible. They just keep saying it's not possible. Well, okay. That type of thought keeps you what? In prison. You're imprisoned by your own ego. Jessica says, it's to believe things a person says when they tell others the opposite. I guess we choose what we want to believe. She goes, it's hard. Well, it's not easy because you got to go against the flow. You got to go against what everyone else is thinking. Here's something that's interesting. The difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is an unconscious emotional pattern, a response to some stimuli that's in your subconscious mind, buried in your subconscious mind. You just, boom, you react. A response is understanding who you are, what you want out of life, and taking a moment to pause and choose the appropriate words, actions, no words that will align with what you choose to experience in life. That's a big thing. So here's a spiritual practice. You're going to say, Lee, is it a good one? I said, it's one of the best. It's simply to pause. If you can teach yourself to pause before you react and do something that's habitual, and you question whether or not it's serving you, you are taking back power in your life. And isn't that what you want to do? You want to take back the power in your life. And when you're doing that, aren't you then, by pausing and asking that question, aren't you connecting to something greater than you are? Yeah, you are. An intelligence greater than the habitual mind, an intelligence that knows infinite possibility, an intelligence that knows that you have the ability to create everything depending on where you put your focus. Where you put your focus determines everything in your life. It doesn't determine what happens all the time, but it determines your reaction to what happens. And your reaction to what happens is your experience. And the only thing that matters in life is the experience that you have. Think about that. You don't buy a new car because it's a new car. You buy a new car because of the experience you associate with having with that car. When you buy a house for the experience you associate with having that house. You find a partner. And the reason you find a partner is because of the experience you believe you can have with that partner. Wrong reason, but that's what we do. We go seeking people that can fulfill what we want to have in our lives. And then when they don't fulfill it, they let us down. We say, oh, there's no such thing as love. When in fact, no human being in the planet can fill that desire within you. The only person who can fill that desire within you is you, and that's where you put your focus. I know that sucks, doesn't it? Truly sucks, because all that responsibility, you can't deter it. You can't say it's her fault, it's his fault, it's their fault. No, it's how you perceive it. And I know that's not easy to grasp. It's not easy to do. But I choose to grasp that, because guess what? When I grasp that, that means I'm no longer a victim. I'd rather be in control of my life than be a victim in my life. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's how I feel. I love knowing that the power of how I feel is my power. And I get to choose how to use that power. What questions you got? Do you have anything on your mind this morning? If you do, just write it down. I'll be happy to talk about that. I've given you a basic. This is what I do here every day. I give you a basic idea that I expound on. Hopefully I'm stimulating ideas within you. And if you have questions or comments, write them down. Nicole says, I create my experience every moment. You help inspire. Thank you. It feels great to finally be responsible for the good and the bad. Yes, Scarlett, you hit it on the head. We're responsible for both sides of the coin, because we're the one flipping the coin. Wherever it lands, we're responsible. But you have the conscious choice. If the coin flips on the wrong side, you can reach over and flip it to the other. That's the power. Just to let you know, if you're interested in a Zoom call like this, where you're with other like-minded people, and you'd like to talk about things, just to connect with people, explore ideas, we do that on Wednesdays. We do that, and if you go to agapespiritualcenter.com, Click on the calendar. You'll notice that we've got one for the Eastern Coast and the Central Time Zone. We've got one for Texas, and we've got one for the Mountain and Pacific time zones. Anyone is invited to join us. If you feel you'd like to be with like-minded people, I invite you to take the opportunity today. It's Wednesday. That's when we have our gatherings. I call them gatherings because that's what we're doing. We're gathering. No other purpose. I promise you, I will not pass out Kool-Aid. Can't do that. We're virtual. This is about just connecting with like-minded people. So with that in mind, I want you to go out and create your great day. I want you to know that you have infinite possibilities in front of you. And all you got to do is turn your focus 1 degree and you set your life on a whole new trajectory. So until then, Sherry says, I have a hard time flipping the coin. I tend to get stuck in the negative. I've been practicing how to stay positive. It's hard to flip the coin in my head. It takes time to build a belief, Sherry. And the time means you have to persistently and consistently talk, think, speak, and feel about what you want. And when you're doing that, you take action in the direction of what you want. You're always taking action in the direction of what you want. You keep doing that, and eventually you flip the coin. And it's natural. It'll be easy at that time. So with that, everybody, I'll tell you it again like I do every day. I love you, and I accept you just like you are. Go be you, because it's the best thing you can do today. Aloha.